Inspiring connection. Restore. Renew. Reconnect. Live. Laugh. In love. Connections. Dream. Getaway Experiences. Brave Heart Workshops. Unique Getaways live with Jill Reynolds.
The Connection Show. Restore, renew, and reconnect in community. Sponsored by Brave Heart Workshops live. I'm Jill Reynolds, and joining me today is Dr. Susie Warden. Hi, Susie.
Hello there. Thanks for having me on.
We're so glad that you could join us from the Chicagoland area.
Thank you. It's a beautiful day here in Chicago. So I don't know where you are, but your background looks like you're in Aruba. So I like it.
It's nice here. It's nice here. I'm in Branson, Missouri.
Okay.
So let me introduce Dr. Susie Warden to you, audience, and let you know a little bit about her background. She and her husband founded Advanced Healthcare Associates, and she ended up at a chiropractor office one day and not only felt relief, but the chiropractor taught her that her future health, along with her baby's at that time, health depended on nutrition, exercise, and stress reduction. A light went on, and she decided she had to get into school and help people as she was helped without the use of medication or surgery. She had an undergraduate degree in exercise psychology and knew that she needed to know more about the body and how to change people's lives without the use of drugs or surgery. She met a young chiropractor who let her observe how she helped her patients. As she talked to her patients, she knew that this is exactly how she wanted to help people. She went to school with a husband who supported her not only financially and mentally, and 2 little boys at that time. She moved to Chicago during a huge snowstorm and started school at the National College of Chiropractors in 1994. It was a whirlwind for the next 4 years of their lives. They had another baby during school, and she graduated in August of 1997. Dr. Susie believes in empowering her patients to reach their wellness and health potential. So that gives you a little bit of background. And Susie, so with that, if you wouldn't mind, lead us down that journey of what was going on basically in your life, in your health back in those earlier days that just brought you into this passion.
Oh my gosh. It just took me down that road 30 some years ago. I had gotten my degree in exercise physiology and I was like, what should I do with this degree? And I was doing fitness consulting for large corporations in Florida, schools. I was doing one-on-one, and I wanted to know more because all of my clients had something going on. They had back pain, maybe they had neck pain, maybe they had hip pain or foot pain. And, I could develop exercise programs, but if they were inhibited by pain, they weren't going to be my clients very much longer. They would have to go to physical therapy or chiropractic. So when I met the girl who eventually educated me about chiropractic, I knew that was what I wanted to do. So, people put things in your path, and sometimes you pray for things to happen. And unless you are open to changing ways, you're going to miss these great opportunities. And I can't imagine my life without being able to help people and, be able to be that person in their life that can encourage them. And we can get through the pain, and we're going to look at where the pain comes from and not cover it up with a lot of medications. And at that point, I didn't have any complications. I didn't have pain. I was very active. I had always played sports and ran. So I didn't have problems. But when I was pregnant, I started getting back pain. And it was because of all my running and stuff like that. And so when that chiropractor helped me, and then my other friend that I met, it was just one of those things. I thought, I have to look at this. And so when I met my husband, I kind of had in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. So off we came, a couple years later after a couple kids, and, came to Chicago. So here we are, 25 years later. And, through my journey, had another kid. So I have 4 boys, and now they're, my oldest is 28, my youngest is 16. So it's been a few years. So, you can go ahead and ask me some questions, and I can kind of, let you know like how my practices have evolved, and, what kind of things I help people with. You can kind of ask me questions and I'll answer.
Well, thank you for bringing us up to date on that. Well, just to kind of reiterate with you, I'm 66 and my son is now 37. And when I got pregnant with my son, I had never really experienced back pain, but I started having severe lower back pain. And I found a chiropractor in Hoffman Estates and went to see him and had chiropractic adjustments throughout my entire pregnancy. So I've been seeing chiropractors for 38 years now. And the one that was between chiropractors and osteopaths, I swear by it, when my son was about 2, he had nonstop ear infections. Like every 10 weeks, he was getting an ear infection over and over. And the ear, nose, and throat doctor was going to put tubes in his ear. So we were scheduled, and I read in Prevention Magazine about this doctor in Oak Park back then. He's now passed away, Dr. Paul Dunn. He was just an unbelievable osteopath. And so what I did is I asked my chiropractor, you'll laugh at this, I asked my chiropractor if he would go with me to the osteopath's office. So we went there, and Dr. Dunn did cranial osteopathic manipulations, and he wanted to know how my labor and delivery was. And I explained that my son's umbilical cord had wrapped around his neck, and that thankfully I had an epidural, and the OBGYN had to just go inside of me and rip the baby down the birth canal because they didn't have time to prep me for a C, else he would have died. So when they ripped him down my birth canal, they tore me, and I had about 150 stitches, a fractured tailbone. My son's shoulder was fractured. So as a result, as they pulled him out the birth canal, his cranial bone was dislodged. And so thus, whenever I meet people now and they tell me their children have colic or chronic ear infections, I'm like, check the cranial bone. You need someone who does cranial work because the cranial bone is off. And so I'm a full advocate of chiropractic and osteopathic holistic stuff, especially for kids. And another chiropractor friend I knew, the minute his wife had babies, he was in labor and delivery, and he adjusted the baby's cranial bone right coming out of the birth canal.
Yeah, for sure. It plays a big, huge difference if kids get adjusted early in life. That's for sure.
Yeah. And the end of the story is he never needed the tubes in his ears, and he never had another ear infection. I forgot to say that. So that's important.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So exciting. I mean, you have to almost, like I said, sometimes you pray for things to be different. And when people suggest things, unless you go for them, they kind of sound weird in the beginning, but it sure is a lot better than an invasive surgery in any way, foot surgeries, back surgeries, shoulders. If we can, engage those muscles and do things better, and increase range of motion, we may not need all these surgeries and pills and all that kind of stuff.
So take us back to, and the reason I asked this is because they used to be one of my clients. Take us back to you choosing the National School of Chiropractors in Lombard, and your schooling there. I used to, Susie, I don't know if you know this, I used to sell copiers for a living, and I think about the time you were going to school there, I had sold this college all their copiers, and my contacts were Nancy Mitzen and Dr. Jeff Bergen. And so I don't know if any of them were there, but so I'm very familiar with the school. But for the audience, how did you select that college and the education you received from them?
That's a good question. So when we were in Florida and started, my friend who I had met in Florida. She lived in Florida, and she was from Chicago. And so when at some point, she decided that she was going to go back to live in Chicago, and build her practices here in Chicago. And so obviously we kept in touch, and she kept after me, you have to go to school. You have to go to school. I'm like, I know. And then I had kids, and I was kind of comfortable. When you're comfortable, you may not want to go out of that comfort zone, but she kept saying, you have to do this. And I'm like, I know. So my husband was always a big supporter. And so we decided, you know what, let's go for it. Let's get uncomfortable. And it was really uncomfortable, but thank God I got out of that comfort zone. And, we were in 70 degrees in Florida. We put 2 kids in 2 cars and off we drove. And I think it was like a million degrees below zero when we got here to Chicago. And the only reason I came to Chicago was because it's a good school. It's more medically oriented. There's schools in Atlanta, which are great schools too, more kind of straight chiropractic, but I wanted the physical therapy. I wanted the bigger approach to diagnostics and the medical community. And so we came here, and 2 kids, it was literally 70 degrees below zero when we got here. But I grew up in Montana. My husband grew up in New York. So we knew the cold, and we thought, well, for 4 years, we can do about anything. So when we finally got through school, my husband worked, I went to school, had another kid. We just decided to stay because my family's from the West Coast, his is from the East Coast. So we were, right in between. So we thought, well, let's just give it a go and let's start a practice here. And again, my friend was here. So I kind of modeled my practices after her, but I knew I wanted to do more than just chiropractic. So I followed a model and a management company called Breakthrough Coaching. And it was a company that taught how to do multidisciplinary clinics together. So how to hire a medical doctor, how to hire a physical therapist, how to hire a massage therapist, and everybody works together. And how does that look as far as diagnosing, working together to look at the muscular issues, the joint issues, and the strengthening and flexibility issues, and how do we pull that all together and help people afford to get healthy, without drugs or surgery. And fortunately, back then, the insurance was good, the deductibles were lower, and, it was a good time to get into business. So that was probably 97 when we started. So I jumped right into my own practice. We went to festivals, we went to schools, we went, did marketing everywhere because, as you know, a business is only as good as your marketing. So, I was really passionate about helping people. So I didn't mind getting out there. My kids were in school. So I would go meet teachers, and I would go to the fairs and just meet people and massage people. And so before you know it, I had 3 practices, and I had medical doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists, massage therapists, acupuncturists, nutrition. We do female anti-aging and hormones. I wanted to be the practices where people can come in and feel at home and feel like, I don't know what I need, but I know I need something, and I don't want drugs or surgery. So send me on a path to health. And so that's kind of what we do. We hold people's hands and we go, okay, let's start by looking at blood work. Let's look at hormones. Let's look at, maybe your diet and do some DNA food sensitivity testing. So a little bit of everything. Maybe we need to tweak this, and maybe we need to tweak that. Maybe it's just postural exercises. But everybody's different. Everybody's at a different, kind of journey in their life, and they need something to, start with. It's easy. It's attainable, okay, let's just start by drinking water. Some people are so overwhelmed with everything they've done. They're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this in the morning and that in the afternoon and this, and I just can't do it. I'm like, all right, let's just drink some water. Can we do that? Yeah. Okay, let's pull the head back and shoulders back. Can we do that? Yeah. So little by little, go, yay, you did it. Good job. Now let's go to the next thing. And before you know it, they're doing lots on their own. They've changed their diet, and they've, added a few supplements, and maybe we have to redo some hormones and decrease inflammation. But if we can do it without the use of medications or over the counters, we're going to have less side effects, and our body's going to be healthier. So it's really a fun thing, from, like you said, adjusting little teeny tiny babies. One of our patients right now is having a baby, and I'm like, okay, I'll be there. And I'm like, oh crap, I can't even go there anymore.
Mhm.
So I kind of counseled her and her husband, this is how we do, this is what happens if you're here, and let's look at the lower back. And so it's so much fun. So from birth until death, we can adjust everybody and allow those nerves to work better and the body to get back to health.
Now, where is your practice located, Susie?
Right now, I have one practice. So I had 4 different buildings. I had one up in the northern part of Glen Ellen. I had one in Wheaton. I built another one in Wheaton. And then I had one in Naperville. So right now, I just have one practice, and it's in Wheaton. And I've just kind of simplified my life over the past 25 years. And insurance changed a lot. So, I thought, you know what? I just need to slow it down a little bit to simplify it. So I have probably 5 people working for me. We do physical therapy, everything we do, but just one office. So it's in Wheaton right now.
So at your practice then, so you have a physical therapist, you have yourself, which does chiropractic, you have an acupuncturist as well?
I do acupuncture myself.
You do that? And
Yep.
what other modalities who is the other?
So we have I have a massage therapist. I have a gal that does craniosacral therapy. So between those, we help a lot of people. I have different modalities. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Beamer or the Healy device. The Healy is new, and it's kind of a biofeedback device, and people, you don't have to go to a practitioner anymore. You can get it and wear it. It's kind of cool. So it's kind of new, right from Germany, but the Beamer technology is pulsed electromagnetic frequency, and you lay on a mat, and it increases oxygenation throughout the whole microcirculation system. So healing, it's just little by little figuring out what people need. Do you need some craniosacral? Do you need an adjustment? Do we need everything? But yeah, I have like 6 people working for me. So we all kind of do a little bit of everything except for the craniosacral and Reiki. Practitioner does those things.
Well, it's so good to catch up with you. I can't. I'm almost like I want to talk now, but I'm going to wait till after to tell you some new things. But I'll just share just a few. But we'll talk off a couple of modalities. I keep finding new stuff. I've been on this healing journey for 38 years, and so I discover all kinds of really cool things. Well, since I got to Branson, I met this man, and he's just amazing because he prays over him and his wife. They sit out on their farm porch on their rockers, and they pray over their list of clients every morning over their tea and before their clients show up. And he's kind of gruff, but man, is he great. And he went to Italy, and he discovered this man who taught him how to make these inserts to put inside your shoe. And the way he puts them in the shoe, it causes lymphatic drainage throughout your whole body. So you have full lymphatic drainage all day wearing them in your shoe, because I have lymphedema and lipodema. And it's amazing how it works. And it's just a guy in Italy discovered it, and hardly anyone knows how to do it, but he does train people. So it'd be interesting.
Wow.
You'll have to come to Branson and meet him. He's amazing. And
that's awesome.
And then Susie, what you'll love, he does a technique, and there's only, I think, about 20 of practitioners in the whole United States that do it. It's called biocranial, not cranial sacrum, but biocranial. And there's one doctor in Chicago that does it, but I'll have to have you hear about that one, because you will love biocranial work.
Okay.
So I do that, and I do that with him. And then his wife, of course, does colonics. And then I have a girlfriend in Nashville. You would absolutely love her. She's a healer, and she's got a machine, and I'll have to, if you may know about it, but I'll have to get it from, have you and her talk. But it's a machine you lay on the table, and you could put on whatever modality is going on with you. If you have pain, if you have anxiety, if you have fear, and you put a headphone on, and you lay on the table, and as she turns this machine on, it gives different sound waves in your body. And I am not lying to you. It blew my mind away. I got up after an hour session, and for 5 days, I was completely, totally pain-free. I have not been pain-free since I was in a car accident in 2011. So it's sound healing. It's so unbelievably cool. So
That is cool.
And then she's Native American, and she does drumming, and it's amazing how she does drumming for healing. So
is that a modality that it's for practitioners, or can anyone have that? Can anyone buy it?
Yeah, I think there's a small scale machine that you can take home that's like $500, which I haven't bought yet. But she's got a much more high powered one. But yeah, you can buy the machine and take it home, and or come in for a treatment in your office with the machine.
Oh, cool.
But
I would like to talk to her, and we also have that Healy device, which is kind of like that. It's not sound waves, but it's more vibrational and frequency, and you wear it, and one of the models actually reads the vibration and the balance that's off in your body. Like let's say your liver is off. It's vibrating up here, and it should be down here. It'll tell you what is off in your body, and then you push this button, and it'll rebalance it. And it's something that you buy yourself and wear, and it clips on here. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And people are getting better. Migraines gone, this gone, emotional. It's FDA cleared, which is interesting too. So there's so many different things out there that we can do naturally without the use of drugs or surgery that people don't know of. So this is so great to be able to get it out to people and really look into helping people on that bigger scale when they're open. A lot of people get stuck in that medical model, and then they have all these things going on that are a result of the surgery, the medications, this and that. And it's not necessary, So if more people can do like you do, take your kids to the chiropractor, take your kids to places where there's not side effects. It's amazing. The body is meant to innately heal itself. Why don't we let it,
Well, and I'm a firm advocate. Sure, I never tell people don't take your children to a pediatrician, but when your kids are sick with colds or viruses or anything, I just say get to a chiropractor, because their system just needs to be aligned, and you can do so much. I'm an advocate. Like I said, after I found chiropractic when I was pregnant, that's where I took my son. Whenever he got sick, I took him to get a treatment. And because I was in a major car, I was in a car accident at O'Hare Airport. I had pulled up curbside on a rainy September night, and my sister could not get her suitcase in the car. So I got out of my vehicle, and I opened my rear door, and I leaned inside, bent over from my waist all the way inside of my car to help her lift this big suitcase in. So as my back was leaning in, thank God I had just gotten the day before an inner ear infection from water. My tube in my canal is really little, and if I take showers without earplugs, I get inner ear infections. So I hit that the ear, nose, and throat had just put a wick inside my eardrum, and so I couldn't hear out of my left ear. So as I'm leaning in, all of a sudden my body flew to the left, and a van going 30 miles an hour had smashed into my open car door. So my body flew left, and she still didn't know she hit me, and she's still going. So I just turned and was banging on her door to stop, and I had so much adrenaline going through me. My sister's yelling at me, Jill, we just got hit, because I just heard this crunching noise, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. When the police officer came, Susie, he said, do you need an ambulance? And I kept saying, no, can't you see my car's hurt? Because I just bought a new car 8 weeks before. And I was in PTSD. So I got home the next day. I fell down the stairs, did not know my full meniscus was torn. So I had to have 2 new knees, a brand new hip, and then they put my hip ball joint over 2 inches to the right on top of my piriformis muscle. So my right leg feels like I'm walking around with a 40-pound weight on it, and I can't lift it up and walk. and it's just left me permanently disabled, and now they can't fix it. So I do all kinds of healing with people, chiropractors, osteopaths, just to be able to get out of bed in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm going to be in Chicago though, in I think a week and a half, and we'll make an appointment because I want to do those two things, the Beamer with you and
Yes.
that other treatment. So talk to me a little bit
Sure.
now. So with your modalities yourself, are you trained in kinesiology? What are some of the modalities chiropractically that you utilize?
I have a little bit of everything. Like we have the basics, like your muscle stimulation, ultrasound, infrared light therapy. All these are designed to decrease inflammation and increase circulation to the area superficially. And then with the other devices that I have, the Beamer, it increases and allows the body to increase microcirculation, which is 75% of your entire circulatory system. So if we can get more nutrients to the areas and lymphatic out, I mean, it's amazing how great these organs start to feel with consistent use. Now, the Beamer, you have to lay down, and it's a 8 to 20 minute session twice a day. You know, if you can't get to my office twice a day, maybe you buy one, but they're a little expensive. About 6 weeks ago, someone came to me with a Healy, and it's as big as a credit card. And it came from Europe. It's in 40 countries, but what it does is vibrationally look at those imbalances, and then you can treat yourself. And I don't know, I'm sure you're in tune with biofeedback. And I used to go to my friend who does biofeedback, and you feel amazing afterwards because it treats your emotional imbalances as well as pain and inflammation and organic chakras. It's crazy. But we're all frequency, you know, the water is a certain frequency, vitamin D is a certain frequency. All of these things are frequencies. And as I start looking more into this, I'm like, no wonder, you know, you have these researchers who have looked at frequency and vibration, and they have these different modalities that are bigger for practitioners, and they're $30,000-$40,000. They teach practitioners how to use it. It's called the time waver, and it's microcurrent FSM, frequency stimulated microcurrent, frequency stimulated, something like frequency specific microcurrent. And so that's a really cool thing to heal shoulders and pelvic inflammatory diseases and stuff like that. But then they made that little Healy so anyone can have it. So
Wow.
I thought, well, I'm going to get one at my office. So that's kind of a more where people can actually buy it and use it at home. So I've just started experiencing it. So I have people that have chronic pain. I'm like, just take this home for a couple of days. This is how you run these programs. Put your thumbprint in. And people are like, wow, I really feel better. I sleep better. And I'm like, whoa, you know, because, you know, let's face it, you really have to be open to getting. I always tell people, you got to get weird. You know, some people are, you know, they love to take, here's a symptom, I'm going to take a medication. And I'm not saying medications are bad, but those are very easy to do. You know, these kind of things, they take a little bit more time, like nutrition. And, you know, to lose weight the right way, it takes time. To get better the right way, it takes time. But if we can allow the body to do what it's supposed to do naturally and use modalities that help the body along the way, like chiropractic care, like massage, you know, strengthening, nutrition, you know, these other modalities, man, the body is able to do what it's supposed to do. And all of a sudden we look better. When we look better, we feel better. So I've wrapped everything. And I also have anti-aging in our office where we do microcurrent facials. We do cellulite treatments with microcurrent, with good plant-based lotions that help tighten, tone, and firm, you know, the body from the face to the eyes, to the legs, to the belly, just to tighten. People have lost weight. So instead of going and spending $3,000 for a, you know, cool sculpt, we have creams and microcurrent that we can use to tighten the skin, and it's so much cheaper and better for you. So modalities that help people feel better, look better. And in my office, you can kind of see behind me, this isn't my office, but I've got a lot of things on my walls that help people feel good. Like you just walked into a place that you go, oh my gosh, I'm so happy, you know, because thoughts become things. And if we look at things that say, I'm happy and, you're awesome and this and that, guess what? You start believing it. And that's what your brain perceives. So that's what we're going to achieve, So turning off the news and, being that person that gives people encouragement and, helps people become a better version of themselves is what I love to do in my office. People feel icky about themselves. They've let themselves go. They've been in accidents. They don't know where to turn. And sometimes it's just someone going, let's start somewhere. Let's start with drinking water. We got this. Okay. And so I love what I do. I can't imagine not doing it, but,
Well,
at some point.
couple of things you just said. I woke up literally with God at 5 o'clock in the morning and just felt like I was supposed to post on my social media these positive thoughts today. And I started it with, why don't we all just for 30 days on all of our timelines, every single human being listening, post for 30 days, nothing but positive affirmations, joy, love, and don't respond to one more post that's controversial for 30 days and just see how you feel. For 30 days, don't respond, don't put and I'm not saying either way, whatever way you feel what's going on in the world, just refuse for 30 days to be controversial and just see how your spirit feels, because I have been so filled with anxiety for the last 2 weeks. And I just, like I said, I just woke up and immediately felt. And so my fun one was a dog driving a car. And I have a retreat coming up in Montana with horses. So I picked a dog driving a car, a dog hanging out his head in the window of a car, and some people riding horses. And I just said something like, to give you a lift, I'll pick you up today. This will be a good pickup. To give you a lift, I'll give you a pickup today. And it was just like a funny thing of a dog picking you up, giving you a lift, haha, some dry humor. And everyone was cracking up, because it's like, I need, kind of like an Uber driver, and here's the dog, I'm going to give you a lift today. And it's awesome. Just diversion and taking the time to do something different. One of the things, Susie, that you said I'd love you to address is because I've had all these multiple surgeries, I did not realize until I met somebody on Facebook, believe it or not, who started to share with me about lymphedema and lipodema. And so I went to an actual center and was professionally diagnosed, and I have stage 2 lymphedema and I have lipodema. And so I had to get treated for, I want to say 3 months, 3 times a week, and then wear my compression garments. I've got my compression pump at home. But where I would love to have you address that, this is something new that I've learned as a result, is whenever you've had any type of surgery, or if you're going to have surgery, what I've learned, it's imperative to have lymphatic drainage. It's imperative a couple of weeks before surgery to get your lymphatic system draining properly, and after surgery to come back and do a couple of months of lymphatic drainage, because your lymphatic system is not working. It needs to be properly working during surgery and post-surgery.
I mean, and most people are not going to address that. The doctors, the surgeons usually don't. So I don't care if it's a shoulder surgery or a hysterectomy or maybe, a cesarean section, you're always damaging the release of toxins. And that's the only way our body gets rid of toxins is through our lymphatic system. So, and the only way your lymphatic system works is to push it out. It doesn't normally just go out. So you have to do things. So a couple of things I always tell people is there's a little sauna that I have, and it's called It's an infrared sauna. You sit in it and you zip it up and your head is out. It's awesome. It's infrared. You can get those big saunas that you can walk into, but this is really easy. It's like $1,000, maybe even less. And you use it every single day. And what it does is it increases circulation. The beamer increases circulation, but you have to get that stuff out. So there's a couple techniques. There's one that you can look up. It's called LET. It's LET. I don't even know what it stands for. Lymphatic something. I don't even know. But my friend does it at her place up in Northbrook. And it's with and I have a guy that'll come to my office and do it too. And it's it looks like little light bulbs. And they put a light bulb here and they and they drain it all the way down. And it pushes that lymphatic stuff out. So you cannot do too much to get that lymphatic system going, or guess what? It's almost like your garbage disposal just backs up. I always tell people this, talking about Montana, that's where I'm from. So I tell people, not draining your lymphatic system, and this is kind of what it's like. Picture a nice stream in Montana with fishies, and it's beautiful blue. You can see all the way down. It's maybe 3 feet deep. If all of a sudden there's no drainage, what happens? There's no oxygen in there. The water kind of goes down. There's no good water coming in. It starts to get stinky and smelly. The fish start dying. That's what happens in our body if we don't have the proper lymphatic drainage. And, no matter what, even if you don't have surgeries, you need to work on that. You need to work on your lymphatic system, because that's what helps keep us youthful. It's what helps keeps us non-toxic. So LET therapy is amazing. Getting adjusted, moving your body, getting one of those little rebounders. A rebounder is a little bouncy, looks like a little trampoline, and that helps push the lymphatic stuff out.
Yeah.
The infrared sauna. This new Healy that I have, you can clip on, and it comes up with lymphatic system. You push the button and it helps your lymphatic system. Water. Half of your body weight in ounces of water every day or more. Get it out, So some people wonder why their skin is bad, why their skin is wrinkly, why, their joints are big. It's usually something to do with your lymphatic system. It's usually something to do with the amount of water you're drinking, the amount of exercise you can do. And maybe your joints hurt. Maybe you can't exercise, but you can do something. You can sit down, you can do some squats, you can go up and down the stairs, something, Like I said, start small.
And mentioning that too, two things which you said. 98% of all your doctors will have no idea what you're talking about when you say you want to have a prescription to go have lymphatic drainage. They'll look at you and go, why? My husband, when he went to have his hip done, and I was with him with the surgeon and said, my husband needs an order to have lymphatic drainage. And he goes, I've never done that with anyone. And I said, well, you're going to with my husband because he needs it done. And he was like, okay. And you just have to tell him, give me an order. I want to go get lymphatic drainage because it's imperative. And the doctors don't know anything about it. And trust me, it will increase your healing so much faster. You won't even know it hit you. So that, and then one other thing you said about the water that I just learned recently, and just really, most of us, so much of these are cool things to share with you so that you really can take good care of your health, is again, the man I'm seeing here in Branson said, and you can correct me if I say the wrong thing, because I'm just learning it. He said I think he said our bones or our blood, I think it's the bones, are comprised and need to be at a base level of around 72 alkaline. That's what they're composed and they're created and made that way. So our body's supposed to be in that state. And most of us that drink regular water and even some bottled water are coming in at about a 65 to 66 acidic level. And so when we're drinking the amount of water Susie mentioned, we're putting our body in a state of acid. And so I thankfully found a company here in Branson called Ava Springs, Ava Springs, out of Ava, Arkansas, that they found a well on their property, and their water comes out at 7.7 alkaline. It's coming out of the well at 7.7. So I order that water now, and then once a day I make a big blender filled with 2 oranges, 2 limes, 2 oranges, ginger root, garlic, and a tablespoon of olive oil, and blend that baby. So when I'm drinking my alkaline water all day with my citric blend, it will bring me closer to a 7.2. So
Awesome.
keeping the alkaline balance is so imperative for healing the body, and I've seen a huge differential. And
Well,
and the
and
other
just being a
one more thing on that. And the other thing he said to help alkaline, which is something, again, I'm learning so many new things. He said to stay in an alkaline state of health, he said there's actually a book written by, this doctor's name is Dr. Hayes, but there's another Dr. Hayes that wrote a book in the 1940s on alkaline food plans. So he said, and I can send it to you so you can give it to your patients, he said, for optimal health to eat an alkaline food plan, and by doing that, what you do is you eat your proteins and your vegetables together, and you eat your carbs and your fruits within an hour or two later or before, but never. So I was always eating salads with, blueberries and raspberries and banana, fruit mixed in with my vegetables. And he said, no, you're leaving your body in an acidic state because you're mixing the two. So he says, eat them different. So just eating the alkaline food plan and the other, I've taken 2 inches off of my waist, and it's just been amazing. So
that's exactly what I was going to say. And you can look up alkaline diet and start to change your ways. The other thing is not drinking water with your meals. That's another thing, is because you want to have good acidity in your stomach, and when you mix it with water while you're eating your food, you decrease the acidity in your stomach with the dilution of water. So you really want to drink water half an hour before you eat, half an hour after you eat, and in between meals. There's all these rules and stuff like that, but again, starting slowly, really making a decision to be healthier as we age will help you look better, feel better. Another big thing is digestive enzymes. Some people aren't digesting their food right. That's how we get leaky gut syndrome. So eating, digestive enzymes that are natural, and your chiropractor can get you those. And also probiotics, taking a good replenishing probiotic for that gut will help your skin, will help your brain, because your stomach is your second brain. So a lot of times people think that, oh my gosh, I just can't get out of bed, I'm depressed. And what happens? Go to the doctor, yes, you're depressed. And what are they going to do? Pills. But really, change your diet, get out and do your affirmations. Let's move our body. Let's breathe. Let's decide that we want to do something good for our body, rather than taking something very easy that may or may not be good for you. And it's the easy way. And sometimes the easy way is definitely not the good way. So not that people don't need it. Please don't get me wrong. But most of the time, you don't need anything like that. Most of the time, we can do things with our diet all the time, exercise, and our mind, just deciding that you want something better, writing your affirmations down, like you said, goals, getting a group of people. And I think you've done an awesome job at this, is getting a group of people that we can help support one another. And I wanted to mention, if anyone, or if you, I'll invite you, and we have a Facebook group, and it's a community, and there's exercises, there's doctors on there that teach exercise programs, and we're going to be doing a Live Happy week and giving away a lot of products like these probiotics and anti-aging skincare and stuff like that. But it's all about living happy and different things that we can do on a daily basis for somebody else. So we're going to be doing that. And so I'll invite you to our group, and you can invite anybody. But it's going to be a challenge to be able to, like you said, let's focus on the positive, and let's focus on, helping people, being that happy light in people's lives, rather than getting upset about what's going on and stressed out. Turn off the TV, go help people. go help somebody, go encourage somebody, go, tell someone that they look pretty, something. It's very easy. Just go do it,
Yeah, yeah,
easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. But, in
yeah.
these times like this where, marching, holding signs, why? Go help somebody. Go be a beacon in a shine, a big shining light. Go help somebody make money. Go help somebody, change their life. I
Yeah,
don't know what we're doing out there.
I try, and I won't go down that path, but I mean, it's like,
I know, I'm sorry. I probably
no,
shouldn't
no,
have.
no, no, but I agree. I hear you. And yesterday, I got a text from early in the morning. This boy, his name is Willie, and he's one of the his father, his adopted father founded Y Men in Chicago, Young Men's Educational Network, for inner city black kids to tutor them and send them to college.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I met Willie when he was 10 years old at a inner city camp actually called Kanakuk. And I took my son to it, and we were leaders, and we were the only white people at the camp. They were all kids from inner city, Cabrini Green at the time. And I met Willie, and me and Jeremy, my son, we brought him to our house one weekend, and he stayed with us. And I was really able to experience what it was like in Willie's life, and it was really hard for him. And we were playing outside, and at dusk, he said, we got to go inside now because there's going to be drive-by shootings. And I assured him in Arlington Heights we were not going to have drive-by shootings. But anyway, we stayed friends over the years. And Willie and his kids that he from Young Men's Educational, they come to Branson every year for the urban camp. And unfortunately, so I just woke up yesterday and said, hey, Willie, when are you going to be at Kanakuk? And he said, oh, they canceled it this year and we're not coming. And I said, really? Because the non-urban camp is still meeting. And he says, oh, they're going to just do ours online, which was really sad. So I just thought to myself, I live in Branson. The subdivision I live in has these cool lodges we can rent. So I'm going to call Willie and see if we can't gather the money and get these inner city kids to Branson still, and we'll do camp in my backyard. I don't care,
You know what? What a great thing.
It's like, no, we're not going to let these kids not meet. I mean, I love them. I love these kids, and I'm going to cry. But it's like, yes, I know people are hurting, but let's do actionable things that help. Like,
Amen.
Go to the inner city of Chicago and bring food
Amen.
and clothes and go serve. Young Men's Educational Network, they help kids to go to college. I mean, Willie went to college, he graduated, he's been, and it's just, there's so many things we can do. So many.
And you know what? And it needs to be, I live in Glen Ellen, and, people are very, they've worked hard, for what they have. And it's like everybody needs to not just hold a sign and march, like you said, go be a part, not just today or tomorrow, but make a commitment, big brothers, big sisters, mentor kids. Like my husband is a football coach, and we had mentored a great boy, and he's still a part of our life. He and his wife, they're married, but same thing. He lived with us because his mom was going to move. He was going to take him away from football, and we're like, we can't do that. And his mom said, okay, well, you can keep him. So we had him, and all through high school. So he was a guardian of ours, and black. His name was Robert Cook, and it was amazing because we taught him how to live, respectfully and how to work hard, and he taught us. It's awesome. And so it's been amazing. But people need to put their money where their mouth is and go be a part and mentor people, teach them, because there are people out there wanting to know. Mm-hmm. So let's go get them. And, like you said, I would love to be a part of that. I'll help you do that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people will.
Yeah. It's like, let's get these kids to Branson. Yeah. I mean, again, I live in a subdivision where we have lodges and villas and condos. We have 3 outdoor pools, basketball courts, two catch and release lakes. And so I can
Wow.
I can create camp here. These kids can go
Yeah.
shoot hoops, play tennis, and we'll bring a busload of them to Branson and let them
Yeah.
still do camp
Yeah.
this summer, because they, when these kids come from the inner city, just so you guys are aware, some of these kids have never ever in their entire life ever been out of the inner city, and they come to Branson and they're like, right, there's no noise, there's no gunfire, like they don't. It takes them 3 days to assimilate, like, because their bodies are so filled with anxiety the way they live. So anyway,
Love it.
that's that. So in ending, I'm going to real quick, we were going to ask a couple more questions, but we're kind of running out of time. But Susie, one of the things, I'll just go, because we're almost out of the pandemic, so I won't go how you've been connecting, because you've been working and connecting. But Getaway Experiences. After speaking with you today, I'm more and more passionate about Getaway Experiences with you and Chris, your husband. And I would just love it, since you've got these different practitioners in your office, to let's start really, let's make it a decision to plan a getaway experience with the audience. If you've enjoyed Susie, please, what I'd love to do is just plan a getaway where we can do health and wellness. We can bring some of these transportable things that Susie has, and we can do a week of wellness. I've got different places. Branson's amazing. If people don't want to go out of the country yet, we can do it here. I have an amazing ranch, 500 acres, Susie, in Montana, right outside of Billings in Joliet, with 21.
That's where I'm from.
20.
That's where I'm from. Billings.
Yeah, Abby Moreland, her and her husband, you'll love it. They bought over 500 acres on a river with 21 horses, and she teaches empowerment and leadership skills with the horses, and she's got 3 arenas, so we could do a full wellness there. And her ranch is only got 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, but as well as I know, Joliet's only about a 30-minute drive, so we could do overflow at hotels, and then take big vans and come to the ranch all day long and do our healing and our wellness at the ranch, and
that sounds amazing.
All kinds of cool. And then audience, I just found out, yay, Aruba's opening their borders, and about 5 more weeks for the United States. So we can begin now planning for Aruba. They have a lot of rules and regulations. You have to get the COVID test 3 days before traveling, and you must have health care insurance in Aruba, and they tell you how to get that. But we can still start planning now an Aruba getaway at this villa right on the beach with private swimming pools and a beautiful outdoor patios where Susie can do wellness and healing right there on the beach for us. So in Aruba. So we've got some really good ideas for 2020, 2021. And what I'd love to do now is just put on the screen Susie's bio for you so that you know how to reach out to her. I will have this posted on the YouTube channel so that you'll be able to pick this up and get a hold of her and reach out to her. So Susie, if you can just share before we get off the video here, what's one fun fact about you?
Oh my gosh. Here's kind of a fun one. It's kind of funny. So when I grew up, I was a runner, and I was a good runner. And I didn't really have to work too hard. And I was at a state meet, and I got beat. And she was a Native American girl, and her name was Lavella Heavy Runner. And I was really kind of mad. I was super mad, and I didn't want to take the silver medal. I was kind of like, I can't believe I got beat. Where did she come from? And so I tell this story because I feel like that drove me the rest of my life. Like, I got to either work harder if I want more. I got to be better if I want more, and I can't have excuses. So Lavella Heavy Runner is always kind of a funny story that I tell, and that's kind of what inspired, maybe didn't inspire me, but as I look back and I talk about that, people laugh. So I thought that was kind of funny. So I got beat. I think I was first time I ever got second place was I think it was a freshman. I was oh my gosh, I got beat. I think I was depressed for 6 months. But that was kind of my driving force behind, I'm going to make things happen the rest of my life. I shouldn't have excuses. She probably didn't cheat. She probably just worked harder than me. So the moral of the story is work hard, decide you want more, and everyone can get it. Everyone can do it. Have more, be more, feel better, and everyone can do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Susie, for joining us. I am choking right now. I'm sorry. My throat's needing water really, really bad. So your picture went away.
There we go. I was just getting a call. I think we should be good there.
Okay. So thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And for all of you joining us, thanks so much for joining the Connection Show. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again, Susie.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Let's connect now. We can dream together to renew, restore, and reconnect with wellness in our life. Go to braveheartworkshops.com. Join me for weekly Zoom connections on Facebook at facebook.com/Braveheart Workshops. Thanks so much for joining the show, and we look forward to seeing you on